What's going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what the data points are saying, and where I see things going. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off with this upcoming week though, you do have two data points to watch for. So that is GDP on Thursday and then PCE on Friday. So the Feds like to look at PCE as a true indicator of inflation rather than CPI. So especially based on what Powell recently said, the market is going to be paying special attention to these two data points because the market wants to be hopeful. And right now, the market is anticipating that the rates are going to be coming sooner rather than later. And if this data comes in horrifically bad, then that might kind of pop the whole optimism in the broader market. So two big indicators to watch for. Aside from that though, the fear and greed index is at 72. So people's appetite for risk is going to be really high this week. And you can kind of see over this past weekend as well, just with the crypto market. So hopefully that'll extend out into the equity market starting tomorrow. But as far as some expectations for Lucid with this upcoming week, it doesn't show any upcoming events on Lucid's website. They recently did post this though. So it just says, welcome to New York City, Lucid Gravity. We've been waiting for you. Join us starting March the 22nd at our meat packing studio and see yourself in the future of electric SUV and blah, blah, blah. So I think in reality, this is a good thing. And very interestingly enough, that Lucid has marketed the Gravity almost in every corner of the States and even in Europe, but yet they haven't opened up reservations yet. So I find that a little bit more weird and inconsistent based on this individual right here. So Steve Dutcher, if I'm saying that right, did do a flyover. Kind of reminds me of Bear's Workshop, but beside the point though, he says in this video that he spoke to a receptionist, and that receptionist alluded to, I guess, the assembly line getting retrofitted this upcoming summer for the Gravity. So behind the scenes, Lucid is kind of ready for the Gravity, or at least preparing for it. So it makes you question why they are not really launching the reservations. If it's due to maybe the name, then they need to be a little bit more transparent with investors that things are going to be changing, or at least our expectations are going to change. So that's one thing that Lucid has done a very, very crappy job on, is being transparent. But then again, when it comes down to Lucid investors, a lot of them are also equally as bad at asking questions. And I think based on the last earnings, that was very apparent. But still, moving on into this upcoming week, if the data points, like I mentioned on Thursday and Friday, are negative, you are going to see shorts jump all over Lucid because they have started to re-enter back into Lucid. You can kind of see that based off of this right here. So it did have a low of 26.6% for the short interest. Right now, it is 27.49. So shorts have started to re-enter back into Lucid. Even on Friday, they increased almost 993,000 shares. The cost to borrow average is 33.55 and utilization is 100%. As I've said in the past, Lucid technically, based on this information, can be a squeeze play. The only thing it needs is a surprise catalyst. But Lucid, like I said, due to like the transparency and everything, it's not looking all that good. And plus, like I said, due to the lack of catalyst, this is why you've seen institutions kind of take a very notable step back from entering into Lucid. And so once again, kind of matches with the overall volume just diminishing. So hopefully Lucid does put out something of substance to give institutions and retail a reason to get in and buy Lucid. And regardless of this though, you should see a lot more institutional kind of trading near the tail end of the week, because this week is the last week for Q1. And so a lot of institutions are going to be rebalancing their portfolios. And since Lucid has been lagging in comparison to the broader market, as you can kind of see right here, just over this last 1 month, Lucid is down 10%, whereas the S&P is up 3%. And that's been a very common thing over the last little bit. But once again, like I mentioned, with institutions rebalancing their portfolios, they will be buying Lucid. So that should really help probably near the tail end of the week or even after hours on Friday. When it comes to options, with it closing above 250, you do see roughly about 1,000 options that did expire in the money. So meaning market makers are going to have to cover that, but still 1,000 in open interest is going to be absolutely nothing. So that's just 100,000 shares. So very small amount all in all. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. With this upcoming week though, you already do see around 8,000 $4,000 in open interest at that $3 strike price, 4,000 at the 350, and 10 at the 4. So this is going to be a very self-made resistance level, speaking on technicals for a second. So market makers won't want Lucid to be above that, so most likely they will be shorting if it does get anywhere close to the $3 range. But based off of how the technicals have been, it is fair to assume that it might be stagnant, if not continue this downtrend over this upcoming week, which is very unfortunate, like I said. But with it closing at $2.77, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So it did bounce off of this S2, so we know that's a very strong support. Didn't really come anywhere close to this S1, so $2.97 is going to be the next strong resistance. So probably for the most part it's just going to trade within this range. But like I said, with the lack of catalyst, shorts have been kind of being able to puppet Lucid. So if shorts want Lucid to go up, then they can bring it up. If they want it down, they've been kind of dictating where Lucid's been going over the last good 6 months or so, which is again very unfortunate, because Lucid is just, they do and have had a lot of good potential, as I've said plenty of times throughout videos. Just they are missing out on a lot of opportunity, if you ask me. But still, like I said, from that, just take note of a lot of the strong support and resistance points for this upcoming week. Looking on the actual chart though, it has somewhat stabilized based on of this, but it is still lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Looking at the stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red, but it is at 23, so still considered oversold. So if there's a good piece of news, technically you could get a rush of value investors. But with Lucid, it's very hard to come by any news, because even the last news that did come out was prior to their earnings. So it was on February the 15th. So it's been kind of quiet from them. Number of retail investors, they don't really know what to do, right? It's been flat. They don't really want to take the loss, because especially you do see the broader market continuing its rally. You would assume that Lucid would participate in that and continue to go higher. But like, Lucid has just been lagging, and it's very crappy to see the broader market run. And probably, knowing our luck, Lucid is going to put out some amazing news when the market is just going to get completely butchered. So that good news is just going to get brushed under the rug. So again, just the circumstances surrounding Lucid have been very unfortunate. And plus, even coming from a larger scale, some news coming out for Polestar, and I believe recently Li Auto. So a lot of EVs right now are struggling. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you optimistic for this upcoming week? Do you think it's going to break that $3 resistance level, or do you think it's going to trend down? Based on the Elliott wave technicals, like I pointed out a couple of videos ago, is pointing for Lucid to go to roughly the low 2s. So if it does break this right here, so this 233, then it is fair to assume that it is going to kind of touch the $2 range, or possibly the high 1s. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, make sure you guys take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Moo for $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.